What's up, geeks and gamers? My name is Draymond and welcome to Thorium Gaming. And it's time to get our Merc on. Now, before we jump back into everything, major development for this Let's Play and the game overall, Flashpoint came out. And usually I'm not one to get on to a lot of bandwagons and that sort of stuff, especially with how I got burned with Fallout 76. But Flashpoint? Buy it. Get it. Hairbrained went out, read all of the background lore, I swear, and put in so much extra content in the game. Not only that, they listened to everything that diehard fans of the game were saying about how things are playing out, which means we have a little bit of maintenance to do before we can even jump into a mission, otherwise our mech pilots are going to be in a bad situation. But I'll get to that in a second. They added entirely new biomes for planets that we can drop on. Jungles, arid deserts, radioactive wastelands. It's intense what they've added just for the planets. They've also added in a ton of mech chassis. I went in and played a little bit on my personal games to just see how things were going. And the first mission I drop into, I get a Hatchet Man, which we knew was coming, but oh my god, are they aggressive. And there was a crab on the field. Not a king crab, which was the assault mech that was already in the game, but the little guy. It's a little laser boat, and man, it's a workhorse. I didn't even think people remembered that mech, let alone were willing to put it into the game. So, they've added a whole bunch of stuff there. They also reworked the entire cover system. They've reworked how mechs behave in and out of cover. They've reworked how targeting is done. They've reworked pilot skills because certain skills were pretty much necessary for you to beat the game. They have done so much to make the game better. I would consider it like a full-on, full-blown expansion. But this is just kind of an update expansion. And for what they're charging for it, you're going to get your money's worth. Because in addition to everything else I've already talked about, they added a new campaign mode. One where you can go in and ally with the various factions. Yes, I get to ally with House Davian. Yay! Okay, yeah, fanboyism aside, you can ally with the different factions. I haven't actually experienced one of the flashpoints yet, but they're in there, and Darius will point out whenever you get to the point where you can do a flashpoint. But oh my god, so much stuff was added in for a really, really small price tag. Like, normally this is the type of stuff I would expect in a sequel, not an expansion. So, ranting and raving aside, let's go check our MechWarriors out. So look at that, all of our skills have been reset. There's a reason for that. If we go down and look at some of the skills, most notably in the Guts section, Bulwark has been completely reworked to work with the new cover system. So, passive, cover, and guarded states both provide 40% damage reduction rather than 20%. And together they provide 60% when you have both. So if you go over and you brace and you have cover, that's a 60% damage reduction from all weapon attacks. And then they changed out the second skill to Coolant Vent. You can use an action to dump a bunch of heat, but then you slowly heat back up. And it's an incredible way to do things. This is also going to give us a chance to really tweak around with how our guys play out. So, first things first, I'm going to get back towards being a Lancer. Because, well, that's how I like to do things. I want to keep everybody's skills at 4 or higher, if at all possible. And this, of course, is freaking awesome. Bulwark is great.
MechWarrior training complete.
Now, Phoenix, he's going to be our brawler. And the piloting skills have been changed too. Sure footing. Yeah, extra charges of evasion, which was similar to the other way. If the move is not a sprint, jump, or charge to melee, the mech also gains entrenched, making it harder to destabilize a mech on bad ground. This changes how I want to work out Phoenix's skills, because I want him to have piloting and guts now instead of gunnery and guts, making him kind of a Lancer with just the second point down here. So let's get his stats all up in this general area, and then we're going to grab Bulwark, and we're going to grab Sure Footing. And while we're doing that too, we might as well make him able to hit a little bit better because he's going to still be our brawler. Yes, we're going to confirm it. Now, Ryan, we kind of had you coming in to take over for Auric, because he sadly got wasted. But the recon MechWarriors now have gotten even better. Sensor lock and sensor strength is in the game now. They have added so much stuff, it's not even funny. But we're going to get you sensor lock because sensor lock just became so much more valuable to all of your pilots.
Standing by.
Die, we're going to have you setting up to be pretty much as similar to a Lancer.
Waiting for
Bloodwind, we are going to make you kind of an odd setup. I want to get you sure footing, because it's going to become important later on, but you're also going to put your points into gunnery because you're going to be our missile chick. It's going to be awesome. And Chaplain, similar to Phoenix, I want you to kind of go for these center skills here, but we got to get you up baseline first. Make you another brawler sort. That way we can engage at pretty much any range.
Aye, aye.
Alright, so that takes care of our pilots.
Commander.
Now, one of the other things they have added into the game, because I have to keep ranting on this while we're still working, look how many pieces of mech salvage there are. There is tons of it now. Before, you'd find maybe one or two pieces of mech salvage, and you'd not be able to customize your lance. It kind of got boring. But they've added in the ability to pick up a bunch of mech parts. And while I'm sitting here looking at this, they have enforcers up. And if we buy 2 parts, we get a full enforcer. We can afford it. We can afford it. I want an enforcer. The 4R is pretty decent mid-range mech. So let's just take a quick look at it. The enforcer itself is just very, very, very stable as a mid-range platform or a long-range platform. Large laser and an AC-10, definitely more of a sniper variant than anything else, but it's pretty awesome. So we're going to go with that. Now let's see what contracts we have up. We don't have any flashpoints yet, and we could do the liberation of Panzer. They're telling us that long-range fire capabilities could prove advantageous on the drop. And we could either do that or go to Fjoldir, capture a base, or do a battle. Well, before we go in and do the liberation of Panzer, I know we were going to do that right off the bat this time. We're going to jump in and do this battle real quick on a polar map. So heat sinks are going to become a thing. Just to get kind of our ideals up. And you'll get to see the new reputation system. You can eventually ally with these things. So because we're being the good guys and being under contract from House Arano, we're going to ally with the Arano Restoration and go with it from there.
Calculating course now, Commander.
And they've also added in a ton more graphics when you're leaving and entering orbit around planets. Alright, so drawing straws. Dr. Murad gestures grandly at the bright yellow growth on the corridor wall in front of you. Meet the Argo's very own mold problem. See, Chaplain, this is what happens when you take parts of the ship out and just don't do it. Ugh. It started in the unfinished gamma pod, and despite my best efforts, it's spreading unchecked. She pokes at it with a screwdriver, frowning. I've seen this before, boss. Yang takes the screwdriver out of Dr. Murad's hand and wipes it off. I know how to kill it, but whoever you pick for the job needs to be in a hazmat suit. And considering how widespread the infestation is, they're going to be stewing that suit for a long time. Dr. Murad nods grimly. I was afraid of that. Any thoughts on who we should saddle with such an unpleasant task? I suppose we could ask for volunteers. No one's going to volunteer for hazmat duty. We may as well draw straws. We've got mechs that are being repaired, and we have no injuries right now. So we'll send the medical team in. The Argo developed a mold problem. To combat this, Chief Vertanen has developed a highly toxic cleaning solution. The team from the med bay is doing the majority of the cleanup work, so don't get sick or injured out there, because no one will be there to patch you up. Olivia out. Kinda sucks that we had to send our medics in, but it is what it is.
We've just completed those upgrades.
And now the Argo is nice and shiny and bright again. Still only costing us 300 grand a month to, well, 300,000. C-bills, I think, are in denominations of 100. And this is what I mean. This is one of the new approach vectors to a jump ship. They've added so much in. I'm so stoked. Really, I just want to get mechs on the ground and see how this works out for us. The med team should be back in position before we have to deal with this drop anyway, so assuming no one gets hurt, we should be fine. So cool, some of the stuff they've added. But we're not going to proceed just yet. We're just going to wait the 5 days to get our Jägermech back into action. Won't need the Centurion because we have an Enforcer. Well, let's get ready to launch this one. Alright, so I'm going to come back in and take over command of the Jägermech. And Bloodwind, I think we might want to set you up with the Vindicator again, since you're going to be going for missiles. Our 4 slot can be fit with an Enforcer, especially with the long-range weaponry it has, large laser and all that. So let's deploy. Alright, Commander, you've reached the Directorate family's territory. Be on the lookout for reinforcements. You'll need to eliminate all enemy forces that take the field. Don't be complacent. If the mech looks a little worse for the wear, they can still kill you. No kidding. Wonder if we're going to get to see any of the new classes of mechs they've added in. Looks like fairly open territory. This forest is probably going to become a pretty large combat site.
Move order received.
Sprint our guys up and try to keep them near our forest on this side, at least till we get radar contacts. It is just a straight up battle, so we can kind of tool these guys a little bit.
Receiving you.
Bloodwind, you're in a jump capable mech. Just want to get you
Heading
up
out.
onto the hill as best we can. So if we can get up top and into a place where we can snipe a little bit, that would be better.
Acknowledged.
Sprint Phoenix into the woods, because he's our brawler. Ryan, we're going to get you to sit and guard his left flank. So we got 3 vehicles and a mech. We're not entirely sure what's up on the list yet. It's a heavy mech, though. Ooh, and there's another mech. Probably another heavy.
Standing by.
Alright, Ryan, we're going to get you to come down here a little bit and fire off that big auto cannon you got. Now the 10s are a close range weapon, but you do have a large laser. And that's an LRM carrier. I haven't actually seen one of those in-game yet, so that could be something brand new. Or I could just be going crazy. Wasn't a whole lot of missiles coming at Ryan, but you'll notice our armor's taking a few more hits than it used to.
What's up, boss?
And Blood, we're going to jump you up and get you to fire off that PPC in your right arm. Finish this LRM carrier off. And as you can see there's the new sensors impaired. PPCs, along with a few other weapons, actually make it harder for enemies to target you. Sensor strength has become a major point in the game. And I'm going to be sticking as close to this cover as I possibly can. If I walked out of the woods, we'd be okay for a turn, maybe? We could jump, which would give us a lot of evasion points, which would work just as well. So I guess we can do that. Get Phoenix into a place where he can take a pot shot at a quick draw.
Confirmed.
There's some guarded damage because the guy's in cover. But without evasion, can't really do much. And thanks to our evasion charges, he kinda missed a fair bit. Alright, so they have 2 heavy mechs, which isn't great for us. We are quote-unquote outclassed as far as weight goes. But if we can knock out this quick draw easy enough, because it's on its own for right now.
Engaging target.
I'm really hoping they don't have something like an assault mech. Assault mechs right now would be a very, very, very bad thing for us. I don't even think that we'd be able to deal with it. And no, it's a heavy vehicle, so we're okay in that regard. That's an LRM carrier, though. We're going to have to take that out because look at the amount of damage that Ryan took. So we're actually going to move Ryan first. And we're going to use Vigilance to get rid of that stability damage. Make her really, really hard to kill. Striker's not so bad of a danger right now. It's this quick draw that's going to be a pain. Well, headshot. So there's an injury. And Ryan's apparently the target this time around. We're going to have to get a little bit closer and deal with these things.
Good to go.
Now, Bloodwind, are you able to jump close enough to hit that LRM carrier? It's not ideal. Vindicators aren't exactly strong. But we need that LRM carrier to be dealt with. They apparently have something that's not on grid yet. Something looks like another Vindicator, to be honest.
Damage minimal.
Ready to get it on.
And Phoenix, you can't really do much, but you're not generating a whole lot of heat, so we're going to jump you over and see if you can snipe what's left of that LRM carrier out.
Taking the shot.
There we go. So no more long-range missile volleys that are incredibly powerful coming at us.
Missile trashed.
And there's the third mech that we've been hearing about, and there's Sensor Lock. So now if I can get down a little bit closer, maybe within laser range. I want to keep the Jaeger mech at least partially in the woods.
Engaging target.
I forgot the quick draw had jump jets. Ooh. Yeah, we're going to have to pull Ryan back into the woods at least a little bit. Get her to sprint on her next turn, get her evasion stacks up. Possibly knock out that striker, because the missiles are going to hurt. And the stability damage is what's really causing us the major, major issues.
Standing by.
So run that Enforcer in there. We probably should have upped its armor if we would have been able to. Or if I would have been thinking. It's not a whole lot of damage to that striker. That's definitely a Vindicator over there.
Internal damage. Yes, Commander.
And jump jets became a whole lot more powerful given the new system. So we're going to keep our guys and girls jumping around as much as possible.
I copy.
Wow, that striker is holding on for dear life. They have a hunchback. The hunchback doesn't worry me so much. It's still worried about that quick draw. That said, I'm also worried about that striker doing some major damage to us. Oh, and it was a cicada, not a vindicator. So Phoenix, just take out the striker. Wow, that striker is just refusing to die. %40 damage reduction is definitely helping. Let's see if I can get the Jäger Mech into a position to take on the quick draw. Quick draw's got a whole bunch of evasion charges. But if we do this properly... Well, we killed it one of its heat sinks. So maybe it won't jump around like an idiot and really take us on. Notice the missiles are only doing 2 damage per shot now. It's part of the new cover system. We're taking a whole lot less damage. And he's gonna melee me. All shots were on the armor though, so far. I don't know if he has any light weapons. Alright, Ryan. If you move over here, you should, in theory, be able to finish off that stupid little vehicle that's drawing so much of our attention. Please kill it.
Taking the shot.
There we go. So there's a whole bunch less missiles coming at us.
Enemy vehicle destroyed.
That cicada just did some major damage to the Jäger Mech. I'm hoping we're not going to lose any weapons or anything like that. Phoenix, get behind this guy and melee him. Melee attacks do ignore cover. And there's the Vindicator. Turning Phoenix's back to him was probably not a good idea. Can't use cover to your advantage when...
Waiting for orders.
Yeah, your back is turned to him. Now, Bloodwind, we're going to rely on your mobility to deal with this. Pull you back and see if you can take a pot shot at the quick draw. Go for the center torso. The battles have definitely got a lot more tense with the new cover system and everything like that. Jäger Mech's taking a beating as per usual. Don't know why they have such a hate on for the Jäger Mech. But I'll back up a little bit and hopefully lay into this quick draw hard enough to actually either finish it or knock it over. There we go. Quick draw's down. I think we're going to focus on either the Cicada or the Vindicator next. It's definitely going to be Phoenix that moves next, though. His rear armor is starting to really take a pounding.
Yes, Commander.
So we're going to do the quick flip trick. Get you up in the air, get you a bunch of evasion, and put your front armor to face the enemy. Actually, your best shots are to hit the Hunchback. We're going to be repairing a few of our mechs after this, but that should be okay. We're just doing this one to kind of get our eyes in line for when we deal with the Arano restoration mission that's coming up.
Yes, Commander. Move order confirmed.
Ryan's not got a whole lot of heat on her right now. But if we sensor lock the Cicada, it'll dampen its sensors, still take away 2 points of evasion. Should, in theory, allow us to hit it pretty hard with both Bloodwind and the Mech. Phoenix's armor is still holding, if only just.
Reporting. Minimal damage.
Orders.
Not too sure exactly how much heat dissipation you have right now, Blood, but hopefully it's going to be enough for us to at least fire the PPC. Actually, you'll be able to alpha strike with everything that's in range. And take off its right arm. I'm definitely okay with that. Pull the Mech in a little bit closer. Pretty much its optimal range. Cicada's definitely having a bad day. They do like to melee, though. I think that's exposed its right side to a couple of people, though.
Internal damage. Warning.
These guys are being hyper-aggressive with us. I'm not really sure how to take that.
Receiving you.
Phoenix, we could have you melee this Hunchback and attempt to knock it down. That might actually be the proper thing to do here.
Putting my weight into it.
I keep wincing every time the Mech takes a hit because we know it's not got a whole lot of armor.
Internal damage.
Blood, we're going to have you do pretty much the same thing. Get over around behind this other Vindicator. Make it a Vindy on Vindy fight. Stripped its evasion, but it's just going to jump and make that kind of a moot point.
Warning. Armor breached. Internal damage.
Well, the Vindicator decided to shoot everyone.
Damage minimal.
We still got that Cicada over here in the woods. It's been slightly damaged though, but with the amount of evasion it has left, don't necessarily want to try and take it on right now. It's the right torso inside a Hunchback that has its main weapons array. And as for me, it's the right side of the Mech that's really hurt. So let's see if we can turn the left to it a little bit. Just going to run it back. I am exposing the rear a little tiny bit, but we're going to brace.
Watch my six. structure damage.
Cicada's kind of running out of options here.
Ready for orders.
Phoenix, you could death from above this guy. Your legs are in decent shape. Might as well try it.
Reporting critical hit.
Well, that took care of most of its weaponry, made it unsteady, and screwed up a lot of stuff for it. Might have minorly damaged our legs for Phoenix, but... Ooh, and Ryan just lost a left arm. Well,
Got a weapon system down.
that's the large laser, I think.
Standing by.
Bloodwind will just advance you up a little bit because your heat's all gone now. See if you can do something about what's left of this Hunchback's weapons and armor. There's a knockdown. If we could take out a leg or something, that would be great.
Yes, Commander.
So you have a small laser and an AC-10.
Copy that.
So essentially you're going to be running on the 3 shots for the autocannon that you have left. Unfortunately, that wasn't enough to finish off the Hunchback. That's okay, it leaves it right open for the Jaeger mech.
All weapons committed.
And there's a center torso hit.
Enemy mech destroyed.
That bulwark is so useful.
Aye, aye.
I would love to get Phoenix over onto the side of this cicada, but I don't think that's going to happen. So we'll keep him in cover, and let's actually precision strike this guy. If you can core him. Well, there's an injury. Destroyed a machine gun. Wow, you actually just blew it up. You hit so much of the ammunition that it popped. So we're going to go with that. Jagermech's still taking a beating. It's going to be a long time before it's repaired and ready to go again. I'm not really sure how well the Shadowhawk and the Enforcer are going to fare when they get repaired. This should be enough for us to take on the last Vindicator without any problems. Especially since we have
Receiving you.
a couple of mechs still in really decent shape.
Got it.
Been a little bit reckless on this one. But just to make things a little bit easier on us,
All weapons
let's
are go.
delay him on his next turn.
Commander.
Ryan, we're going to have to alter that Enforcer a little bit. Get you some more mid-ranged weaponry or long-range weaponry. Swap the AC-10 out for something lighter. Probably an AC-2. And then from an AC-2 we can drop the large laser to a couple of mediums perhaps?
All weapons committed.
Alright, so now all we have to do is finish this guy. Phoenix, let's see if you can knock him down. That would be pretty much the best thing that we could do. But apparently that's not going to happen. At least not this round.
Coordinates received.
Bloodwind will get you to swing around to his right flank and hopefully pop him in the back.
Target lock on enemy's rear.
Well, there goes his PPC, which is the big weapon of him that we have to worry about, and I think you knocked him down. That Vindicator's definitely in a bad place. He's now on Initiative 1, which means all of our pilots are going to get their shots in before anything else happens.
Roger that.
Now, Ryan, if you can get up here and take a nice, good, clean shot on his torso, that would be great.
Affirmative.
Because you're down to melee damage now.
Scored a critical hit. All out of AC-10 ammo.
So you didn't really have that much ammo to begin with. I was kind of relying on that laser to be filling in the gaps, but losing your left arm early on didn't help. So let's just hope that we can core him with the Jaeger mech. We'll destroy a jump jet.
Enemy mech. Critical damage detected.
And he doesn't have a PPC anymore, so he's got a small laser, some missiles, and the ability to melee. Did some structure damage. Where's the laser?
Warning. Armor breached. Internal damage.
Jaeger mech's been holding on like a champ.
Orders.
Alright, Phoenix, get behind him
Moving out.
and show him what it means to attack one of the 232. So let's go with a precision strike because your autocannon's still recoiling. Go for a side torso shot. And we crit his LRM-5s.
That one.
Ryan, are you within melee range? You are. So we'll get you to do that first, see if you can either finish him or weaken him even more.
Testing physical attack.
There's some armor gone, and another good hit on him.
Good to go.
Blood, let's see if you can finish him off. It'd be great if you could. I'd rather not have our Jaeger mech take another hit, but I think he's already moved this round. And we just lost the left arm, so a couple of auto cannons.
Warning. Weapon system destroyed.
Well, that's no good. We lost an AC-5 and an AC-2. Thankfully, they're not upgraded versions. I knew the word would come to me eventually. Not upgraded versions of the autocannons. And we still have our lasers.
Engaging target.
There goes his leg, and he's completely cored.
Enemy mech destroyed. Mission.
Alright, so we completed that one. It was messy, but it got done. Yeah, all of our mechs got a little screwed up in that one. We're going to take the Cicada and the Quick Draw salvage. And pick up some LRMs, apparently. And some SRMs. It's not exactly the most dire thing in the entire world. I'm well aware we are going to have to repair some mechs before we can do anything else. So the Vindicator just needed a repair, so did the Shadowhawk. But our Jaeger mech and our Enforcer need refits. So an AC-5 can go on there. Do we even have any extra AC-2s? We don't have any extra AC-2s. And an AC-5 is an 8-ton weapon. But we can buy an AC-2.
New weapon systems available.
There we go. And then let's repair everything. It's going to take a while to repair that guy. Let's refit you. So an AC-5 is a very long-range weapon, whereas an AC-10 is just long. 300 meters with a max of 450. What's the large laser's max range? 300 and 450. 360. So I guess the AC-10 and the large laser are kind of optimally matched. What's a medium laser's 180? So if we leave that AC-10 on, we could probably slot in a couple of medium lasers. And then max the armor out. Repair it. That'd probably be better than a large laser in its place. Better range efficiency anyway. So we'll go ahead and do that. And with all our mechs in the bay like that, yeah, it's, well, as we travel to the next mission, it's going to be kind of tough. So what we're going to have to do here too, people leveled up. I think I'm going to save up for the next rank in gunnery for myself. Bloodwind's going to be all missiles, but I don't really want sensor lock on her because that's going to be Ryan's job. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to grab sure footing for her.
MechWarrior training.
And then we'll grab her the guts tree, so you can get up to Coolant Vent, and then we'll equip her with a really heavy missile boat.
Standing by.
Phoenix can 5 out on everything,
Aye, aye.
and Ryan can get sure footing.
Training complete.
And the next one is Ace Pilot, can move after shooting if it's not moved yet. It's actually a really useful ability. Anyway guys, since we had to go over a lot of discussion and we've got a ton of mechs down for the count right now, that's probably going to do it for this week. So if you liked the video guys, please consider hitting that like button. If you'd like to join up with the 232, pop up in this or other Let's Plays, just hit that subscribe button and make sure you turn your notifications on so you don't miss when a new video goes out. And remember guys, life is a game, so play to win, and until next time, take care.